Hopefully everybody's doing good, staying safe. Every time I come back, I feel like I haven't seen y'all or heard from y'all in like 3 years. So when you come in, just say what's up. Let me know you're here. Share and invite this with your friends and family. And we're going to have a little fun tonight. We're going to talk about some things and get some clarity on some things. So if you can, give me about 30 seconds to check and make sure that we are live on both YouTube and Facebook at the same time. When you come in, say hello and stand by.
Okay, everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derrick Jones about to break it down with the relationship gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, ayy, cause better relationships need better ingredients, ayy. So if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derrick Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in. Relationship gumbo, ayy.
All right. We are here. We are back. And I want you to make sure that you share and invite. And the other thing I want you to do is I want you to really think about, this is 2021. It's almost February. I know y'all had some resolutions. Maybe you did, maybe you don't. But you got to project out. You know, you don't want to get into December and wish that you did something. So whatever that thing is that's on your to-do list, let's get it done. I got my own too. So I just wanted to put that out there. Second thing is, y'all know this is an audio podcast as well, right? And today we hit a milestone. I had a goal because at the end of last year, like the last couple of days of last year, we hit 7,000 downloads. So I said, well, in January, my goal was to hit 1,000 in 1 month, right? And thanks to you guys, we hit it. 8,000 in 8,000 total, 1,000 in 1 month. And thanks to y'all listening and downloading and chilling in your car or get your headphones on, y'all did it. Thank you. And that's for y'all. Thank you for the support. And as always, I try to make sure that I give you the best product possible and make it better as we go. Y'all know I'm all about making things better and improving. So if you're new here, what we normally do is, because it's also an audio podcast, I will pause for 3 seconds. I will start the actual podcast. And then at the end of the podcast, I will pause for another 3 seconds so I can chop it off and then upload it for the audio. So without further ado, we're going to get to our guest and our topic, and we just going to let it go, guys. We know we don't play here. We always try to keep it organic, so stand by. And welcome to another episode of the Relationship Gumbo Podcast. My name is Derrick Jones, and I am your host. I'm a certified life and relationship coach, a strategist, an engineer, and a mental health advocate. And today, some of y'all going to get triggered today. I know you are. Because a lot of us have been in this situation. I have too. Today's title is, you say you don't want me, but I still want to stay. We're going to talk about that today. Anybody ever felt like that? You knew the person didn't want you, but you wanted to pull them back in for your own little personal reasons. So we're going to get that in. So tonight, I have an extra special guest. She been on if you guys are subscribed to me or follow me, y'all better be. Go to that website, relationshipgumbo.info, and follow me everywhere. I do a pop-up show called Live in the Inbox. And this young lady has been on that show. She helped me out with my live video reactions, and she's back again on the podcast to help us out with an important topic that we need to just go ahead and get off our chest. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her up, and we just going to sort this thing out. So hold on, stand by. All right, so my special guest, Miss Tiffany Therese, she is back. Welcome back to the show, and I want you to tell people who you are and a little bit about what you do, and then we just gonna go right for it.
Hey y'all, hey, it's Tiffany Therese. I'm back with Mr. Gumbo here. We're gonna get it in, but I have a few businesses. One is a respiratory rescue. get your lungs together. I have the wedding and event consulting business. Love that, love that, love that. I do so many things under the wedding consulting. So if you guys need my information, I'm gonna give you my information at the end of the show. But yes, I have the wedding consulting. I have the relationship issues and topics that I talk about all the time on Uncork TikTok. So me and Gumbo gonna get it in today. But I'll give y'all more information at the end of the show. So stay tuned. Okay.
Oops. There we go. So let's get it in. You see how she called me Gumbo, right? Because because we always look at our screen name. Like, you know how you go on the app and all you know is the person's screen name. So when you see the screen name, that's how you address people. So y'all know, like, when I used to had the business called Card Logic, everybody used to call me Mr. Card Logic, and nobody really ever said Derek. So let's get into this topic. You say you don't want me, but I still want to stay. So we're gonna break this down in a couple of little pieces of possibilities why someone would think like this. So I'm gonna start it off, and then I'm gonna get Tiffany to kind of chime in. So as we know, a lot of times when we get into relationships, things happen. People decide that they want to move on. Sometimes both people decide at the same time, but normally it's one person that says, you know what, I'm just done. I gotta go. And a lot of times the person that wants to keep the relationship, even though they know that they should just let that person go because that person has already let you know that they don't even want no parts, and you still want to reel them back in, kind of almost against their will. Like, I need you to be here. So we're going to talk about some possibilities. And a lot of you guys who are chiming in, if you got a story or a comment, make sure you get that in because it's all about engagement. We want you guys to be a part of the show too. So the first thing the first possibility that I want to talk about is maybe that person has issues with attachment, right? And a lot of times we don't realize it until the person leaves. And so I'm gonna ask you, Tiffany. Well, I did have bullet points, but we gonna just kind of wing it now. So what do you think is the most probable reason why someone would want to kind of yank somebody back by the coattails and say, "Come here, I'm not ready for you to go yet"? What would you think? What do you think the most probable reason would be?
I think the most probable reason is insecurity.
Okay, I'm gonna need you
For
to
sure.
expound on that a little bit.
Okay, it's definitely insecurity. Because if someone's saying they don't want you, that should be all you need. You should never want to be where you're not wanted, or where you're not going to be loved. The way that you want to love them. That's the wrong place to be. That's not the right relationship for you. You should want somebody that's going to love you just the same, and be willing to put in the same amount of effort into the relationship. That's hurtful because it's going to cause you more hurt because there's a lot of things that could happen after that. Them saying they don't want you, they may step out. They're not going to treat you the way you want to be treated. So I definitely think it's an insecurity thing, because you don't want to be alone.
Right.
Or maybe you have, like you said, the attachment issues, and there's all these other different layers that it could be, for someone to say this and cause this.
Right.
Because if you were secure, you would be willing to let the person go. Like, that's
Right.
all you should need to hear, because you're not going to be loved the way you want to be loved or the way God wants you to be loved. So
Right.
that can get really toxic and dangerous, because now you're trying to force someone into feelings that they don't have.
Right.
So I think one of the main things is insecurity, for sure, because you're saying, no, love me, and they're saying, I don't.
Right.
Or I don't want to be here. So it starts with you. And you have to ask yourself why you're behaving this way, why you're saying this, and why you feel like you need this person around you that's not going to love you.
Right. And something that I talk about on the show all the time is about going into a relationship almost kind of like a glass of water, right? The glass of water, if it's full, it means that you are confident in who you are. You know what you want. You made a decision to be with that person. Your self-esteem is where it needs to be. But when that cup is empty, you are getting into a relationship expecting someone else to fill it up for you, right? And when your requirement is that person keeps you full, then when they leave, the cup gets empty again. and then you're used to it being so full for that amount of time. It's almost like somebody literally ripped your heart out. And now, selfishly, you're going to try to make that person come back when you know that they already told you that they don't want you. And that, in that place, like I've been there before, I'm sure a lot of people have been there before, because it hurts to know that that person doesn't want to be with you anymore. That person is ready to move on. And then on the insecurity side, you're thinking they might find somebody better than me. They might, move on and be happy, and I'm going to be here by myself. And then you selfishly want to grab onto them and just try to like make it work. Let me make it work. And that in itself is dysfunctional. And we always talk about people that, you know what? Let me get this question, because I wanted to expound, but I also want to let everybody know that we engage in them. So let me get this question in. Josh Witherspoon says, question, what if they say I don't want you out of pride, anger, or passion? Is it insecure, clingy to fight for that person? So do you want to answer that, or you want me to answer it?
You go.
Okay.
So
sometimes, because it's a double-edged sword, right? Sometimes we've been in relationships where people will say that they're leaving, and they've said it like 300 times, and they really didn't mean it, right? Because they're mad or in the heat of passion. And when that happens, it's kind of like a roller coaster that you're on, right? You don't even know if that person's serious about leaving. In this particular scenario that we were talking about ahead of this, and we could talk about this too, this scenario that he's talking about, we're talking about when that person got the bags packed and they gone and they done. Like they done. And they let you know that they're never coming back, and it's final. When that person says it's final, I don't want you, I'm done. And you say, you know what? I need you to come back anyway. I need you to come back even though you moved on. They like, you know what? I done already met somebody else. I got a whole nother family over here. And you like, no, come back. Like you can't sit and think that selfishly you're going to force and make that person come back knowing that they're completely out. Like we kind of can know and feel when somebody's angry and they're like, you know what, I'm leaving. A lot of times those things they come back. But when somebody's like, look, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. We tried 300 times, and I got to go for myself and my mental health, and I can't do it. Have a great life. I hope you find somebody that fits you, but I can't do it. And then, of course, in that state, you say, well, can we just work it out? Can you come back? Then there's a period where that person leaves and they're moved on, and you say, no, I still need you to come back, so I'm going to keep pulling. So what I want you to do, Tiffany, is I want you to either give like maybe if you can speak about a personal experience, but to answer his question, and I'm gonna restate it because you're not me, you may be able to answer it differently. What if they say I don't want you out of pride, anger, or passion? Is it insecure or clingy to fight for that person?
I don't think it's insecure, but like you said, it's a double-edged sword. You definitely have to know who you're dealing with, because people do say things out of anger. But then sometimes it's hard for that other person on the receiving end to understand or, decipher where it's coming from. You don't always know, like you said, you don't know if they're serious. You don't know if they're going to pack in a week, they're going to pack in a month. So I don't think it's insecure or clingy to fight for them. But I definitely think you should have a space where you step back and you pay attention to their behavior and their words. So you could really determine how serious they are, where they're really at, because some people, once again, somebody like that is saying something they may not mean, and you don't know for sure where their head is at. So I would say take a step back and just pay attention to their behavior and what they're doing and how often they're saying it, when they're saying it, because if it's only coming out when they're mad, they may not mean it.
Right. Right.
but it's going to take that to be repetitive, like to keep hearing that, to know, like, and to learn that, but that's damaging as well to the relationship.
Yeah.
So, and then it's damaging to the trust and the confidence in the relationship. So I would say, no, it's not clingy, but definitely take a step back and pay attention to the behavior so that you could know what you need to do and how serious they really are. Even, whatever it is, you need to know what
Yeah.
you need to do, whether they're serious or not, because it's
Yeah.
just not right. It's not
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And the tone is a little different sometimes when somebody's done, like super done.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have fought for somebody that we knew that this was like a ebbs and flows, and you like, well, maybe we could work it out. I've done that before. Many, many,
Yes.
many, 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 many times in the past, especially when I was younger. I would
Mm-hmm.
fight, then she would fight. Then I would fight for her to come back, and then I'd be like, no, I'm done. And then she'd be like, no. And it would be like this thing. But then there was that moment where it was like, you know what? This right here is toxic as hell. And I feel love for you, but I cannot continue. Go ahead. I know you got a story. Let me ask you, have you been in that situation before?
I have been in a relationship, like what you just said, as far as fighting for someone that you knew, like, you shouldn't even been fighting for, like, or that it's like, okay, well, I want to be done, but you really don't want to be done. I don't know, like, with me, like, I kind of would do what I told Josh to do, is sit back, pay attention. And if they weren't done quick enough, I was done, because I was tired of going through that toxicity. Like, I
Right.
was sick of it.
Yeah.
It was too much, and it's too heavy, and it's too hurtful. So I would normally be the one that's like, okay, I'm finished with this. Because a lot of people that do that, they're not serious. They're just running their mouth. And for me, I'm one of those people that when I'm mad, I say what I mean. Like,
Right.
if you, like, I will spare your feelings until you got me here.
Yeah.
So once you get me here, I'm all, I don't care. I'm not sorry neither. Like,
Mm-hmm.
versus people that do this when they're mad, and then now
Yeah.
they have to say sorry, and you can't apologize your way out of everything. Like, there's some things you just cannot apologize for, and that's a big issue with me too, with people that do things like this. They say things, they don't
Mm-hmm.
mean it, and you can't apologize for everything. You can't sorry everything away and fix it with a sorry.
Yeah. And that's that's what I always tell my daughter, because she's a I'm sorry queen. And I'm like, you can't keep doing that without change behavior, or I'm not going to believe it. Like, it's just stupid to do that. Now, I don't tell her that it's stupid. I'm just saying in general, like, it doesn't make
Right.
sense to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because once you lose that trust, then the rest of it just becomes this toxic battle. Cecily Draper
Absolutely.
on Facebook says he should ask himself, is what they're saying damaging to him? It's one thing for a person to say that once out of anger, but if that's the go-to phrase, that hints at manipulation or emotional maturity in a relationship. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, right? We have to be strong enough, and to Cecily's point, having the emotional intelligence to know that don't feel good. And
Mm-hmm.
are you going to keep putting up with it as a matter of routine? Like, oh, that's just how they are? Are you going to take steps to try to work on the why? And sometimes the why is that person is at a point where they probably not even, sometimes they're not ready to even be there. Right? Like, sometimes that dysfunction is so high that somebody probably does have to leave. Because you start to get used to feeling like crap. You start to get used to because some people out here are just trained runners. Like, every time there's an argument, they're like, I'm out. And then and you get so used to it that you're like, oh, that's just how they are. But we don't sit back and say, this is dysfunctional as hell. Like, maybe our conversations need to change, because damn it.
Absolutely.
Because you got to think about it. If this is a routine, the person who, and we can't, I'm not going to say who's right or who's wrong, but the person who is the one that's still sitting at home, that's not the runner, there's a certain amount of hurt that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're saying is, when this becomes a routine, it doesn't get addressed. How many times are you going to keep getting hurt before you take a stand? And sometimes taking the stand may be, you know what? I'm going to be the one to leave this time, and I'm not coming
Yep.
back.
Mm-hmm.
So, Spin City on Facebook says trauma can be addicting like crack. Yeah. Look at you. It's coming. I see it's bubbling. It's bubbling. It's right here. Chest getting warm. So now I got a question for you. Have you been in a situation where you stayed somewhere too long and you knew that it hurt and you was just sitting there and you was like, I mean, okay, here's a better question. For you, and not that you now, but in your past, have you been that person that stayed like a years and you knew that it hurt like that and you knew you should have left?
Not years, months.
Months. Okay.
Months. Yeah, because I feel too much. I can't do it.
Right.
I can't do it. And you see the signs. And I'm one of the
Right.
I'm not an argumentative person, so I'm usually the one sitting back and watching and listening to everything you do.
Right.
Everything you do. And once my mind is made up, it's made up. It's done. And it's like we never even existed. It's done. There's no more phone calls. There's no nothing. So yeah, I've stayed months for one reason or the other, or I'm just like, well, maybe he'll change, or maybe if I talk to him, maybe this will happen, or maybe he'll get it, or and you just stay and hope that they get it, and that you're wrong, not them, that you're wrong. But every time they prove that no, you need to go. You need to go. It's time to go. That they're wrong and they're going to do what they want to do. So yeah, I've stayed for more months than I was supposed to. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
I wanted it to work.
This segues into the next I would say bullet point, if you will. Have you been in a situation where you felt like when you knew it didn't feel right, that you could love them back to the happy place again? Like, oh, they're toxic, but if I do more, then maybe they'll change, or maybe they'll come back. Like if I do more, not necessarily looking for them to change immediately, but like if I love them more, if I show them more, then maybe I don't have to feel this hurt anymore. You ever felt like that?
No.
Not you?
No, I can't. No. No, and I was sitting up here going back in time too. Like, hold on, let me. No.
Yeah, I think sometimes what we do when we feel like we love someone, not you though, but like some of the people that's down in the comments, somebody know what I'm talking about. When you feel like you're attached to that person and you gotta be there even when they're doing the wrong. Sometimes we take on the responsibility of providing the cure, and we want to do all this extra stuff to make them feel better so that they'll react the way that we want to, so that we in turn feel better. And it's an ugly cycle that we go through. Sprint City says anxious attachment, and she says #guilty. Yeah, like it's tough, right? Because we get in our emotions, right? And I can't just say women, men do too, whether we like to admit it or not. We do some emotional stuff. It just may not look the same. So it's a lot of times we think that we can be the cure when it's really about the couple making the decision to be the cure. And as long as one person isn't trying to work it out, it's never really going to get where it needs to be. And then hopefully, at some point, if you have to make the decision to leave, right? Not you, let's say the other person decides to leave. We got to know that we made our best effort, and sometimes you just got to let them go. Not for them, but for you.
Absolutely.
So welcome everybody that's coming in. Please feel free to comment. So the next question that I have for you is, have you ever been in a situation where you've been in a relationship and it was a codependent situation? Like you felt like this person was like everything, and you just gave them like 3,000 instead of 100%. You gave them 3,000, and every move they made, you was just like, I can't move until. You ain't never been that person?
No, I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl at all. It's been the other way around.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
So then let's do
yeah.
this then. Since it was the other way around, right? And you have this
Hmm.
person that's so emotionally needy, they're trying to siphon that energy from you. Did that change your perspective about like what you thought of them, or did you just go roll with the punches, or was you like the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah, I rolled with some of it, but it
Mm-hmm.
definitely changed my perspective because I thought they were one way, and then I realized that I had another child, and it was unattractive. Like, I want you to want me, and even maybe feel like you need me sometimes, and me need you,
Mm-hmm.
but not to be clingy or just like you can't go throughout your day without, being right up under me, or you don't have anything to do. I'm the only person you want to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, no, that's no, that's too much.
So
Yeah.
then that gives me another question. So now the wheels are spinning. So now let's make you the person who leaves, right? Because you probably were. So let's say you saw that and you decided to leave. When you made the decision to leave, did that person try to come and like grab you and snatch you back a few times, or did they just say, "Okay, it's over"?
Yeah, always. They did.
Always, always. Which one? They
They
tried
they
to
they
come
they
and.
came they tried to get me back. Yes.
Hmm.
They tried to get me back. It wasn't something that they wanted, but it was something that I needed, so it had to happen
And was it
with no
difficult?
apology.
Was it difficult for you to watch them trying to get you back, and still knowing that you need? Like, did you have second thoughts?
Um, I would play back and forth sometimes with myself, like, did I leave too soon? Did I see enough? Did I hear enough? Depending on the situation or on the person, who the person was. But once I make that decision, because I give it enough time,
Hmm.
and I think about it, I always think about my actions before, I make a move. Because when I'm done, I'm done. I know, and I sat here and I listened and I gave chances and I talked and I communicated. So I know that I've done all I can do and that this is not going to change. So I'm usually content and happy with my decision. So, um, yeah, no, 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 I would, no.
I'm looking at this
Mm-mm.
comment. Josh Witherspoon from YouTube says, "LOL. Why don't women like clingy men? And what's too clingy? And what's just enough cling?" I'm gonna let you answer
Okay,
that. I'm not a woman. You tell
okay,
me.
okay, okay.
You
So
want me to
let's
repeat the
say
question, or you got it?
I got it.
Okay.
So let's say, we're chilling at the house, and I say, oh, I'm gonna go to the store, and go get some chips and dip. And every time I want to run out to the store that's like up the street and you want to go, that's too much. Like, that's my piece, like I might just want to jam to like Tony Braxton, on the way to the store, and it's like, and then like it's like a reset button. So if he like want to jump in a car every time I go, that's because I've been in that situation. I
Hmm.
mean, it didn't matter where I was going.
He's
I
like,
could
we
have been going to
going.
the
You ain't
OBGYN.
going. We
I mean,
going.
he was gone. Yeah, we. Like, he would get, and I was the one driving too, so it made it. I was the one with the vehicle, so it just made it even more. Like, are you
Mm.
serious? Are you serious? Like, I can't go to the grocery store and get some chips and some milk without you jumping in the passenger seat. It was too much. That's too much. But if we're like hanging out and he's laying on my lap and I'm rubbing his head and we're just laughing, that's not too much. That's affection. That's necessary. But stuff like that, like, where, I'm going to the store and every time I go somewhere, anywhere, you just gotta go. No, go walk the dog or something. No, that's too much. I'll be
Spence,
back.
Spence City says, was he cheating?
Eventually, he did. Yes, he did.
She know what she talking about. Because normally when people are overly like trying to check you like that, it's really a reflection on what they're doing. They're trying to like, yeah, that's what I think. That's what
Hmm.
Spence City's getting at. But yeah, that right there, like,
Eventually.
yeah, yeah, that's she said bingo with like a whole bunch of O's after it.
Hmm.
That happens, and this
Bingo
see
was
it's
his name. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and that's the thing when you deal with people that are like that, right? whether they cheat or not, when they're like extra, extra, extra like that, when you decide to leave, it's like the world is over. Like their whole soul is gone. And that's what I mean by whether it's dysfunctional, whether it's a narcissist situation or whatever, when you make the other person that you're with your entire existence, when they leave, it's a death sentence for you. And this is, and I hate to say it, but this is when you find those people that say things like, if you ever leave me, I'm going to do something to myself and all of that. You have to have your own identity. You have to be able to function and be okay with someone else saying that they're going to want to be happier. So it's going to hurt. But I'd rather for you to be like, I'd rather for you to go ahead and do what you got to do. You know, and it also depends on how long you've been with the person too. Because, you know, you've been with, let's say you've been with that person for 6 years and you know, somebody decide that they want to leave. It's probably gonna crush the hell out of you. But you still, like, if you've already done the back and forth and all that, and it's just like final, it's time to go. You're gonna have to figure that out, do something, listen to some meditation music or something, but you gotta get it in. Cause I'm gonna tell you, being in this situation where you know you gotta leave because it's toxic to your health and you just gotta go. It's not that I don't care, but it's time. We gotta get out of here and hope, you know, hopefully the person is okay. They don't do nothing to themselves and all that. But you have to at some point make a stand for yourself, and begging someone to stay that's emphatically telling you that they don't want you, that says more about you than it does about them. I hate to say it. Hate to say it.
Absolutely. Facts.
So let me ask you another question. Since Spin City brought it up, and I want to say I think you mentioned it to me too before we came on about cheating. Like if someone cheats, and then you well, I don't know. You want to talk about this scenario of if somebody cheats and the train ain't never late. Here go Josh with a spoon. He says, hold on, let me get him in. He's an honorary member of the Relationship Gumbo family. He says clinginess equals soon to cheat? ? I didn't know that. You want to respond to that?
No, it's a short answer. It doesn't. But in some cases, the insecure cheater, like he was checking on me and wondering where I was going because he was insecure and he was doing dirt, or he was planning to. Because that's exactly what happened. So it doesn't always mean that, you know, they're going to cheat. They just may be just insecure, or, you know, just really love being around you. And like we said, they're wrapping their whole world around you. Because maybe they don't have much going on. You know, maybe they're still trying to find their way, and your life is a little more busy than theirs. And you know, they're just sponging up whatever you have going on, you know. So no, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to cheat. It's just
sometimes when people are clingy, like sometimes we equate that to affection, and sometimes people just want to be like, they want to control and like make sure where you going. So if you go into the store, they think you up to something, so they got to go too, and they got to make sure that they check all your movements. A lot of times when people are so aggressive with doing that, they're doing that because they feel like they can't trust you because you might find out what they're doing. So they want to make sure that you're not doing the same thing that they're doing, if that makes sense. So it's tough. It's tough to be the one that gets left, but you gotta love yourself enough to say, if that person won't be happy, I won't be happy too. So let me go ahead and be happy over here.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have to be okay with it, even if I'm not. So it's tough. This topic right here, I think Josh says, that's so interesting. He said, wow, that's so interesting, but it does make a ton of sense. Yeah, it happens every day. A lot of people that's on here right now can tell you that a lot of times, you know, Some women think it's cute. Oh, he want to make sure he going, want to get in the car with me and go. And you can't even go use the bathroom. He like, what you doing? You on your phone in there? Who you talking to? And trigger warning. So and then you have to say like whoa, like I get that you care about me, but this right here is something ain't right.
Right.
And if it's not a cheating situation, then you might be dealing with like a controlling narcissist, some kind of they want to control all your movements because they don't trust you. And it's like it's like what Alicia always tells me, and she's told me this since probably the first couple weeks that I met her. If you jealous about other men crossing my path, and not that I show her that, but she was giving me the disclaimer early. It's never about what they do, it's about what I do. So if you can't trust me to stand my ground for this relationship, then we don't have nothing. That means anytime I go somewhere that has a male in there, you're going to be jittery. Oh, but it's a man said hello to you. No, who wants to live in that space?
Right.
That is the definition of toxic. So we don't, and a lot of times when you're in these situations, it becomes so much that you have to make a stand and say, you know what? I got to go. I can't do this anymore. It's probably one of the toughest decisions that people have to make because, we got the feels and the love, and we done been on the picnics, and we done been to Six Flags, and we had a fun time, and you thinking about all the good stuff, but you got to think about the rest of your life. Like who wants to go through that for the rest of your life?
Exactly.
That right there, it hurts to even say that. But people live and do it every day. And the bigger point here is just to kind of start to like wrap it up and put it in a bow a little bit. You have to really think about and take inventory of you. Because if you are okay with you, and you know for an absolute fact that you're dealing with something that's hurting you on a regular basis, it's them doing the thing, but it's also you choosing to deal with it.
Let the church say amen.
That's the hardest part that people tend to not want to swallow, is once you realize that it doesn't feel good every day, you're making a conscious decision to accept it and let that person know that it's cool.
Yes.
Spin City says, wrap it up already. Keep on talking, we'll stay, Spin City. So,
yes.
so that's the thing.
So glad you said that.
So let me ask you this. So have you been in a situation where let me see how I want to phrase this, where you have been, because you said you was in this, did you say that was your personal situation where the person was like that, the clingy, what in that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's take a small tangent on the trip to getting the podcast over. Let's take a little side detour real quick. Was that behavior present up front, or did it morph into that over time?
It kind of morphed into that. It
Gotcha.
kind of morphed into that. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, and that's the thing, right? This is a point I want to make now that you said that. Let's say that you're in a situation where these things, where over time this person becomes toxic, right? Mm-hmm. The point where you first start to build that bond, that's the thing that we hold on to, even when we're being treated like crap. We keep referring back to that as a means of staying, right? And that in itself, when you're not communicating it, when you're not setting boundaries and letting that person know, like, if you do that again, here's the consequence. we don't do this with people because we keep going back to where we felt good.
Right. Yep.
Well, I think we might have asked that kind of. She kind of just answered that a little bit. She asked her if she saw red flags but ignored them. Yeah, well, no, that's a different question. At the point when you started to see the behavior change, did you immediately say, "Hey, what's going on," or did you ignore it and just kind of let it go and hope it was going to change?
I wouldn't say that it's neither. I would say that, like I said before, I take a step back and I pay attention to the behavior because I
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure this is what I'm seeing so that I know how to address it
Mm-hmm.
whenever I realize, okay, yeah, this is what he's doing. Because sometimes you're not around a person every single day, or
Mm-hmm.
you don't talk to them every single day. So, sometimes it may be twice a week. So after a period of time, yeah, I learned it. Okay, this, he's being different. Like, why is he doing this? So I wouldn't say there was red flags in the beginning, no, because it didn't start off that way. Um, it wasn't so like it wasn't so urgent to be there,
Mm-hmm.
be there, be there, be there. That started happening after a while, and I didn't understand it, but instead of me addressing it right away, I just kind of paid attention to it for a few more weeks, few more months, whatever. I don't know exactly, but I just paid attention to it until I knew that that's what it was. So when I addressed it, I knew I was right. Like, okay, no, this is what you've been doing. You've been doing this for this amount of time, and this happened, and I could actually run down some things as an example to bring back to him. Like, this is what you've been doing. What's up? What's going on? Why are you doing this? Why are you behaving this way?
And did he try to fix it, or did he just continue the behavior, or was it kind of one of those things where he gave a little fix and then turned back into it, and gave a little fix and turned back into it?
He didn't fix anything. He made excuses about it.
Mm,
He didn't own it. He made excuses of
mm,
what I was accusing him of. He made excuses about it and turned it into something else that sound good to him.
mm,
Instead of addressing what I was accusing him of and saying why you went from here to here. And
mm.
then it just kept doing this until it just got worse. Obviously, it just got worse.
Yeah, I'm no therapist, but it sounds creepily like something that might start with the letter N, as in Nancy. Um, because we always talk about these, people that that may not necessarily be full blown diagnosable like narcissists, but they have narcissist
Hmm.
tendencies and narcissist traits,
Hmm.
and he sounds like he had a little bit of that in his bloodstream. Um,
He had a little bit of every lot. Yeah, he had
yeah,
a yeah.
he had a little bit of
Hmm.
everything. He had a little
Yeah,
cocktail
he was
going on in there.
yep.
Yeah. Spin City says, "Damn, he gave zero fucks." Because
Neither did I after a while. Shit. Mm.
it sucks to be in a situation where you know that it's wrong and you know you've invested like this is what people go through. And anybody that's on here live, you let me know if this rings true for you or not. That when you spend a lot of times, we base our decisions on how much we want to fight or how much we want to try to make somebody stay based on the time that we put in and the effort that we put in, and we've done so many things, and it's been X amount of months or X amount of years, and then we make that the thing we fight for instead of fighting for your happiness, fighting for even the happiness of the relationship. You're fighting only because y'all been together for a long time, and you scared
Yep.
to start over again. Being scared to start over again is huge. It's probably one of the biggest factors why people stay in stuff that hurts all the time.
Yep.
Josh, Josh says, "Yep, that's me." And Michelle said the N word. Yeah, that N word, man, that narcissist thing. That thing is. And I know already know that there's some folks on here that have encountered people like that. But yeah, time served, man. Time served, and being afraid to. And that's something that we didn't even talk about why someone would want to pull you back. They don't want to be by themselves to have to start all over again. And that fear
Hmm.
is probably one of the biggest things. Like, that y'all need to break up, but I don't want to be by myself. So I'm going to pull this toxic person back, and I'm going to deal with that hurt because at least I know what it is. And I don't want to find somebody that might be worse. And I also don't want to be by myself. So you in like this limbo thing, and you're making a conscious choice, whether you're mentally or emotionally able to do it, you're making a conscious choice to hurt all over again. After the person already left, you're like, nope, I want some more. Give me another glass. I want to drink some more. I'm good. That's
Exactly.
Josh Witherspoon says sometimes it's hard to be happy unless you feel like the other person realizes how much time and effort you put in. Lack of appreciation equals unhappiness, in my opinion. What you think about that?
I don't know. Run that back again. What do you say?
Sometimes it's hard to be happy unless you feel like the other person realizes how much time and effort you put in. Lack of appreciation equals unhappiness. Okay, I get it now. You understand what he's saying?
Yeah. I mean, you can. I mean, you do feel sad when you feel unappreciated,
Mm-hmm.
but you gotta, you gotta, you gotta focus on you. After after so much and so long, you gotta focus on you. You can't focus on what they see and don't see, or what they want and don't want. You gotta do what's best for you. At the
Yep.
end of everything, you have to, because after you've heard this and you know that this is not what they want, you are not what they want, and you continue to try to force them to stay, or you stay, your unhappiness is now your fault. It
Yep.
is your fault. I solely, and I'm not afraid to say it, I solely blame that person, because this person is being honest with you. How many times have we been in a situation where we were lied to and we didn't get the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how different would that situation and that hurt had not, been there, had we got the truth and they just came out and said, look, I want to see somebody else. I don't want to be with you and I'm done.
You know,
Like, it
you,
would.
you know why I'm laughing. I'm sorry. You know, there's this person on TikTok. They made this thing where I don't know. I think I might have sent it to. I know I sent it to. No, she's not on here. I sent it to Erica, and I might even send it to you too. Where the woman is like, just tell me that you're seeing somebody else, and it'll be
Yeah,
okay. And then as soon as he
yeah,
was
she
like,
liked that.
and then it was like, oh yeah, we played that on the live for the inbox
We
show.
did.
And then as soon as he said, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I have been, seeing, and then she literally whooped his ass. Like she went for it, and he was like, he's thinking like, I thought you said it was gonna be okay if I was honest. That trap right there. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that the whole thing about the whole appreciation thing is you can request it, you can want it, but you can't force it out of somebody.
You can't.
That's the thing.
You can't.
That's the thing. And some
It all
people
goes back to you.
some people don't realize that they're not appreciating you, and then you can bring it to their
Hmm.
attention, and then they make moves to try to show you. But for them to just blatantly not give a damn, yeah, that hurts.
It does.
That hurts. And that's the thing
Hmm.
is if you have somebody that's an immovable object and they don't want to work on things, you have a decision to make.
Absolutely.
You have a decision to make. And it's difficult, and that's why I always preach on this show to try to get a lot of these communication and um, how are you, when you're in an argument or you upset, how do you normally, these questions that we don't ask and we find out later and we're like, oh, I didn't know that they like, punching holes in walls and when they get mad. Michelle Ford saw the video. She said she went straight Mike Tyson on that dude in the video. Crazy. But you
Yes,
know
you
what though?
did.
That's real life. That's real life. Y'all know y'all be hitting us with that setup, talking about it.
I
I
don't.
just I just want you to be honest, and everything will be okay once you once you tell me. But and you know what what's the crazy thing is if that person who did the wrong feels like they don't want to lose you, you'll get it out of them, and then they just gotta you gotta suffer, you gotta get slapped in the face a couple times, I guess, or punched in the face a couple times, I guess. Maybe that happens, but anyway, we are going to Spin City said that's me AF. Spin City be punching dude. You be punching dudes in the jaw when that lady was wailing on him. Michelle Ford said she pleads the fifth.
Yeah.
Because, and I get it. Like, if you know somebody's not telling you the truth, and you know that that's a way for you to try to get it out of them, you're going to do what you got to do so you can have your peace of mind. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But sometimes you just want that person to just own up to what happened.
That's it.
So let me see. Let me get one more question, and then we're gonna start to wrap it up because we almost had about an hour. And I thank you guys for who are commenting because y'all make this show so much fun. Um, let me find out. Y'all setting dudes up and y'all jabbing and punching them in the ribs. Um, so Tiffany, let me think about a last question for you is, what would you say to someone who is in a situation where the relationship is toxic, the person that they're with says, I can't do this anymore and I'm leaving? What would your advice be to the person, male or female, that's in torment because they don't know how to go on because that person that they love is about to leave? Mm-hmm. Let it sizzle and marinate for a minute.
Well, it's necessary. I tell you that. They have to allow that person to go
Mm-hmm.
because they need to be in a better place. It's something that you have to allow to happen. It's something you need for you. It's necessary for them as well. You don't want anyone that is not going to love you the way you deserve to be loved. So it's something that you have to allow to happen. Um, in that space that you have now that this person is gone, once they're gone, you have to do some self-reflecting, and spend some time with yourself and learn how to love yourself so that when the next person comes around, you could love yourself more and better and harder to not put yourself through that situation again. If that situation ever comes up again, you have to spend that time, take that time and spend it with yourself. Yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, it's going to be painful, but you have to realize that the person that you're meant to be with, it won't be that way. They'll want you, they'll love you, and they'll care about your feelings, and they'll want to stay, and you won't feel so empty. You won't feel that when they're there and when they're not there. So it's definitely something that's necessary. It has to happen. You have to let it happen. You have to spend that time with yourself, build up your insecurities, uh, find some things that you love and you enjoy, find some things that you love and enjoy about yourself, and remind yourself of who you are, what you're capable of. Just build yourself back up because everything you need is right there in you, not in this person, in you.
Right.
So you need to be with somebody that you complement each other. Not you needing this person, but you complement each other. So
Yeah. And I think with people, we see all these people talking about self-care, self-love, and getting yourself together, but we don't really realize how powerful that really is, because when you get to a point where you actually give a damn about loving yourself and taking care of yourself, there's so many use cases for that, like when that comes in handy, right? And this is one of them,
mhm.
right? This is how I'm going to close it out. Loving yourself serves a hell of a purpose when you're in a situation where somebody's leaving you or you breaking up. Doesn't mean it won't hurt, but
Right.
damn it, you're going to be all right. And you got to love yourself in order for you to get through. Because I'm going to tell you, over these past 2 or 3 days, and I've been on these forums on Clubhouse, and I'm listening to these women, I'm listening to these men talk, and they're talking about how they can't go on. They need the person to stay.
Mm.
How are they going to survive without them? And I know that they're not alone in that, and I know that there's a lot of people out here that just don't know how to function without the other person. But that's your alarm to let you know that you need to work on self, that you're so dependent. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about just your well-being. where
Yeah.
you're so like dependent and codependent and attached to someone that you can't even function alone. Like, you know, these people who if you decide you want to go hang out with your girls or hang out with the boys, and they sitting at home like shaking, like, oh my god, I can't, I'm by myself. You got to look at that. You got to look at that. And when I say look at that, I mean sometimes you might need to go see a therapist. Sometimes you need to just, you know, give yourself little tests. Like, go do something by yourself, or let that person go out. And if you're sitting at home fidgety and jittering, ding ding ding, you might need to figure it out. Like, this one person that I was talking to on there today, they were like, you know, they were so clingy to their husband that the husband was like, you need to go find some friends so I can go out with
Mm.
my boys and have my me time. And she was just like, I didn't understand it when he said it. And she was like, eventually, you know, she had got some girlfriends, and she understood that she needed to have her own space. But when you're in the moment and you on that super clinky, super whatever, and you can't, and that person can't breathe, they might end up making a decision one day that they can't take it anymore. You have to be considerate and understand that, and understand who you're with.
Absolutely.
Spin City says our cousins don't want to see a therapist though. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's one of my tenets that I go by, in Spin City, you do too, as also as a coach, is to try to have these platforms where we talk about this stuff, so people can see themselves in either us or the conversation, so they'll realize that maybe, you know, they was talking about me. Maybe I might need to seek out a therapist or seek out a coach or whatever else. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
I bring people up here like Tiffany, who aren't coaches, who aren't therapists, so that you can identify with someone who's not in the professional space, because we all are living on this planet together, and we all have our issues, and we all have things we go through. And I want you guys to identify with everybody that comes up here. Um, so yeah, let that person go. That's my final words. Let them the hell go. And one day, it, you know, it might come back. It might come back around, you know, when you both are in a better space. But take some time to get yourself together and love you. Um,
Right.
so let's do this. Let's I'm gonna put you back on Josh Witherspoon says awesome show. Thank you both. Um, I'm gonna put you back on single screen. I want you to talk about uh the stuff that you offer. A little more detail about the spices and
I know.
in the respiratory rescue, and let people know what it is, so we can get them to that site. So I'm gonna put you back solo, and I want you to just tell them what you got to offer and how they can find you again.
Okay. All right, y'all. So the first thing I'm gonna tell y'all about again is the respiratory rescue. It is a medicine, a natural herb medicine with natural herbs, spices, and veggies. I think I had a coronavirus back in April and nothing was working. So I went to holistic medicine, which I already believed in, but I was left with no option. So I had no choice but to mix up something natural, something holistic, and it worked. It saved me. I had inflammation. It was hard to breathe. It felt like something was just compressing my chest. It was really sore. And I was getting worse and worse by the day. But I took a tablespoon in the morning, waited 30 minutes before I ate anything, and I took a tablespoon at night along with heat therapy. So whenever you order Respiratory Rescue at desertchicken.net, you'll get a hot water bottle so that you can do your heat therapy, because it is very crucial to your healing. So if you know anybody suffering with any respiratory issues or COVID related issues, of course, because it attacks the respiratory, then definitely go to desertchicken.net and order your Respiratory Rescue. It's next day shipping. It is fresh, so it's next day shipping. And there is a direction card in there so that you know exactly how to use it and how much to take, just in case you forget what I'm telling you right now. But you can buy that at desertchicken.net. Also, the spices and seasonings. We have the barbecue rub. We have the seafood seasoning, cinnamon dust, dessert dust, and pixie dust. Pixie dust sparkles, so it's wonderful for like events, weddings, special occasions. If you want your food to bling, if your theme is bling, why not bling your food? So go to dessertchicken.net and get pixie dust or dessert dust or cinna dust or the seafood seasoning called Under the Sea or the barbecue rub called On Q, which is amazing on ribs and anything you want to put on a grill because we tried it. Okay, so go get that. All of those things at dessertchicken.net. Also, I'm a wedding and event coordinator, so I do all types of fashion advice, um, all types of consulting. I offer many of things, but you can reach me at 818-751-7069. Again, 818-751-7069. And you can follow me on Dessert Chicken Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me on Uncorked Instagram and TikTok as well. And again, the website is dessertchicken.net. And for my Uncorked fans, we have some merch, new merch coming really, really soon. So I have the website on hold right now so that we can get it all, new and give it a little facelift and get the new merch up there. But it is coming really, really soon. So I'm really excited about that. So you guys, you can call me, you can DM me on either platform, Instagram, TikTok, if you have any more questions. And I look forward to talking to you and working with you and for you. So thank you so much for tuning in.
Cool. Make sure you guys get some of that stuff. Stop playing. Y'all know y'all like y'all spices and seasonings and stuff. So get that in. Get it in. So I thank you for coming on the show, Tiffany. We'll be back. We're gonna figure out how to fit Tiffany back in. I feel like I need to get some of my crewmates that always come and help me out on the show, especially in the comments, and we can do some kind of a panel, and we'll have you come back or whatever. But Josh Witherspoon says he's hungry now for sure. So we're gonna wrap the show up. Thank you for coming again, and yeah, everybody, and also, as usual, go to relationshipgumbo.info. All kind of goodies. Make sure if you need some more direct help, we have a group coaching session that happens every Thursday at 7 p.m. So go to my website. It's a ridiculously small monthly fee. Like, I hate to even say that. It's not always going to be there, but go there. You can, we can talk. You get to actually get access to me and this creative, wacky brain of mine, and help sort through some of the questions you have. We have a live Q&A where you can ask whatever you want. It's not topic based. You can just ask whatever you want, and you have access to a coach. So get that in. And on that note, we are going to get out of here. Thank you guys. We appreciate you for tuning in, and we'll be back here next week. Same place, same time. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and please, please, please be safe. Have a great day.
Good night.
Okay, everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derrick Jones about to break it down with the relationship gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, ayy, cause better relationships need better ingredients, ayy. So if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derrick Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in.